Tales from the Door at Emo's Part 2. This is the Jedi Technique taught to me by Catfish. So, when I first started working door, it was frustrating because when closing time would come around, I couldn't figure out how to get people to leave. I used the same technique a lot of fledgling doormen use, which is to walk around shouting. And, there's usually, we're closed, we got to go, it's after 2, get out, you got to leave. There's some of the cliches, you don't got to go home, but you can't stay here. I've been working all night. I got to go poop. None of this works. Um, but you can't stay. You got to leave. And yelling at people. Nobody likes to be yelled at, whether they're drunk or sober. It's provocative. It's not effective. So I'm kind of frustrated because if it's Vince or Ed or somebody and they want people to leave and they're turning to you going, get them out of here. What are you doing? So yelling doesn't work. And I lamented this to Catfish. I was like, man, I don't know what to do. I can't get people to leave. He's like, let me show you something, man. And this is what he said. He said to do like this. And I was incredulous. I was like, what's that going to do, man? What are you talking about? He says, trust me, man. All you got to do is, push him out. And I was like, all right, whatever, man. And I didn't think he seemed like he was being earnest. He was telling me this genuinely, but I just thought how is that effective? What are you talking about? So closing time comes up and I'm passing by the outside bar and I says, time to go. He goes, don't forget, man. So I'm like, all right. So I started back in the corner. Remember where the pool used to be? I'm talking about like the corner with the big bushes, by the fence and stuff. And I'm like, this is so stupid. So I start doing like this. And like, there's a girl standing, there's a bunch of girls and like, a couple of guys. And this girl's like, so Tina told me, oh. And immediately they just start moving. I was like, no way. So I kept it going. And they're all kind of moving, towards the gate. I was like, this is amazing. No way. So then I kind of work. There's a whole crowd over kind of by the bathrooms. So I go over by the bathrooms and I start again. I'm like, and I'm not saying anything. I'm just doing the move. I'm just like, go on. And same thing. And I saw this band last Thursday. Oh, and they start leaving. I'm like, no way. This, that's unreal. I can't believe this. So I'm just kind of, zigzagging from the fence towards the bathrooms, back towards the fence, towards the first steps, back towards the fence, back. And this whole massive crowd is kind of like, just moving towards the fence. And there's Oz standing there, he's either taking people's drinks, can't keep them, drop them in the trash can, reaching over, grabbing people's drinks, knocking them out of their hands. Let that go. So I can't believe this. And I didn't want to say anything, but I was like, I didn't have to yell and I didn't have to say anything. All I had to do was just, wave them in. So that worked until, the emo's closed and I'm not working there anymore. But it was something that stuck in the back of my head. And I told Catfish, I can't believe it, man. That worked. I told you, man. I was like, you were right. So there's that. Well, fast forward however many years, and I'd been hanging out at Cecil's, Catbirds, PJ's. Poison Girl came along in there at some point. Um, and I I found myself in a situation where I needed to start picking up door shifts again and hang out at Cecil's. I asked them, I was like, hey man, can I, is there door shifts available? And they're like, yeah, you need to work. And I was like, yeah. So closing time comes up and they were like, you handle the inside, I got the patio. I'm like, all right. So I go back there by the dartboards and I start giving them the, thing. And there's these guys, if you want to hit a bullseye, oh, same thing. They just start walking. No hassle, no muss, no fuss. They just start walking. And I actually get them, all right. So I go over to the pool tables and start, start herding them out. And the same thing. Listen, game of 9-ball, oh, same thing. People just start walking. It's amazing. It works anywhere, anytime. Well, especially closing time. So I became gainfully employed, didn't have to keep doing door shifts. And however much time, years maybe, somebody else is working the door now at Cecil's, and they were doing the thing I had done so long ago, which was, 2 o'clock they start yelling, "You got to get out! Don't have to go home, but you can't stay here." Blah blah blah. But yelling is ineffective. It doesn't do anything to help clear a bar out at 2 o'clock in the morning, much less if it gets later than that. Now they really want to stay. And I walked over to this young man and I said, "Look, dude, let me tell you something somebody told me a long time ago. All you got to do is, wave them in." And it was like, "You think that's going to work?" I said, "I guarantee you it'll work. And you can have a bar cleared in 10 minutes or less." He's like, "Whatever." And he went back to the back of the room, get over there by the dartboards, and there's these guys, and he starts doing the move. And this dude's like, "If you really want to, oh," and I move. Somebody over at the pool table, like hitting the 8 ball. Oh, gone. Cleared the room. And the guy walked over. He's like, "Man, I can't believe it. It totally works. And you don't have to yell." I was like, "That's exactly what I told my man Catfish. And it's totally the truth." So that's the Jedi technique taught to me by Catfish and passed on to multiple generations of doormen now working at a bar near you.